When your cat stares at you, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Yes, it might seem like they're just zoning out. But behind that unblinking gaze, there's something deeper that most people completely miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat can do. And if you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you could be missing messages they've been trying to send for years. Let's start with what that silent stare really means. 1. It was never just curiosity. So, why does your cat actually stare at you? Most people assume it's simple. Cats are curious creatures. You moved, they noticed. End of story. But here's the thing. Cats are surrounded by movement all day long. Curtains swaying, birds outside the window, dust floating through sunlight. If movement was all they cared about, they have plenty of options. So why do they keep choosing to stare at you? Because eye contact in the cat world is not casual. Every instinct they have tells them that holding a gaze is a serious act. In the wild, a direct stare is either a challenge or a declaration of deep trust. And instead of glancing away, your cat locks eyes with you, sometimes for minutes at a time. That's not idle curiosity. That's intention on a level most owners never fully realize. A study in animal cognition found that cats use eye contact with their owners as a form of emotional communication, not unlike the way human infants make eye contact with caregivers to seek reassurance and connection. When your cat stares at you, they're telling you something they can't say out loud. You are the most important thing in this room to me. And by the way, if your cat suddenly stops making eye contact with you altogether, don't brush it off. We'll get into what that really means at the end, and it's something most owners wish they'd paid attention to sooner. 2. The slow blink is a kiss. Have you ever noticed your cat staring at you and then slowly closing and opening their eyes right before they look away? That's not them getting drowsy. That's a love letter. Cats have an entire vocabulary built around their eyes. A hard unblinking stare can signal tension or dominance. But a slow, deliberate blink, that's the opposite. It's a signal that says, I am completely relaxed around you. I feel no threat. I choose to lower my guard in your presence. But here's what most people don't realize. When your cat slow blinks at you, they're inviting a conversation. Researchers have found that when humans slow blink back at cats, the cats are more likely to approach them and show affiliative behavior. In the cat world, you're not just receiving a message, you're being given the chance to reply. When you slow blink back at your cat, night after night, you're having a conversation most owners don't even know is happening. You're saying to each other, without a single sound, I trust you, I see you, we're safe. And hey, if this makes sense to you, smash that like button and subscribe. It's the best way to help us reach more cat people who actually care about understanding their cats on a deeper level. 3. They think they're reading your soul. Ever wonder why your cat stares at you from across the room, completely still, like they're studying you? That stillness isn't passive, it's deliberate. Here's something that might surprise you. Even the most pampered house cat still carries the perceptual wiring of a predator. And predators are experts at reading body language. When your cat watches you from a distance, part of them is doing something ancient and deeply instinctive. They're assessing, they're learning, they're gathering data. This goes back thousands of years. Wild cats survived not just by hunting, but by reading their environment with extraordinary precision. Every flicker of movement, every shift in posture, every change in breathing told them something critical. And your cat, no matter how domesticated, hasn't lost that skill. They've just redirected it entirely at you. Watch when your cat stares at you most intensely. It's often when you're upset, distracted, or about to do something that affects them, like picking up your keys or opening a cabinet. They know your patterns better than you know your own. Something deep in their wiring says, this human is my whole world to understand. 4. Every type of stare is a different message. Does your cat stare at you with half closed eyes, wide dilated pupils, an unblinking laser focus, or a slow wandering gaze? Each one is telling you something entirely different. Let's start with the half-closed, relaxed stare. This is one of the most content expressions a cat can offer. Their face is soft, their body is loose, and they're watching you the way you might watch a fireplace. Comfortable, present, at peace. If your cat stares at you like this, they're not asking for anything. They're just happy you exist. Now, the wide-eyed stare with large dark pupils. Context matters here. Pupils dilate with excitement, fear, or intense focus. If your cat's body is relaxed and they're staring at you this way, they're likely stimulated and engaged. If their body is tense, something has caught them off guard. What about the unblinking hard stare? Some owners find this unsettling. Pay attention to the rest of their body. Flattened ears and a low posture mean stress. But an upright, still posture with a fixed gaze often means your cat is trying to communicate something urgently, like an empty food bowl or a closed door. And then there's a stare followed by a slow look away. That's your cat saying, I see you, I acknowledge you, and I trust you enough not to need to watch you every second. It's subtle, but it's one of the most peaceful signals they can give. 5. They change what they stare at just for you. Have you ever noticed that your cat seems to stare at you most right before you wake up, right when you get home, or right when something in your day shifts? That's not a coincidence. It's a choice they made for you. Cats are naturally crepuscular. Their senses are sharpest at dawn and dusk. It's when their wild ancestors hunted. It's when their instincts tell them to be hyper alert to every movement and detail in their environment. So by nature, a cat's sharpest attention shouldn't be focused on a resting human at all, but bonded cats do something remarkable. They redirect that peak perceptual focus onto the people they love most. Researchers studying domestic cats found that cats living closely with humans begin to orient their attention around human schedules and behaviors rather than environmental triggers alone. They watch you most during your transitions, your mornings, your arrivals, your moments of stillness. Not because something interesting is happening, but because you are there. Think about that for a second. Your cat's sharpest senses, built over thousands of years of evolution, get quietly redirected just so they can stay connected to your world. 6. They feel your emotions through your eyes. Ever had a hard day and noticed your cat walk straight up to you and stare directly into your face without blinking? That's not random. They already knew something was wrong before you said a single word. Cats are incredibly tuned into the people they're bonded with, and science is starting to prove what cat owners have felt for years. Your cat can read your face better than you think. Studies show that cats can distinguish between human emotional expressions. They respond differently to happy faces versus stressed or sad ones, especially when those faces belong to their own owners. When you're upset, your expression shifts. Your eyes change. The tension around your brow and mouth alters. Your cat picks up on all of it. They don't know the reason you're hurting, but they know something is off. This is why some cats stare at their owners with unusual intensity during illness, grief, or anxiety. They're not just gazing. They're responding to real signals you're broadcasting without realizing it. And here's where it gets even deeper. Your eyes are one of the primary places cats look to understand you. Night after night, interaction after interaction, they're studying your face. They're learning what your baseline looks like. And when something shifts, they notice before you do. 7. When they stop looking at you, listen closely. What does it mean when a cat who always made eye contact with you suddenly won't? This is what I mentioned earlier, and it's something every cat owner needs to understand. If your cat has been holding your gaze for months or even years, and that suddenly changes, don't ignore it. Cats are creatures of habit. When they break a pattern this significant, they're trying to tell you something. Sometimes the reason is physical. Discomfort around the eyes, neurological changes, or illness can alter how a cat uses their vision and their willingness to engage visually. If your older cat suddenly avoids eye contact entirely, a vet visit is absolutely worth considering. Other times, it's environmental. A new pet, a new person, a disruption to their safe space. Something that seems minor to you may feel overwhelming to them, and breaking eye contact is their way of retreating inward. And sometimes it's emotional. Cats remember. If something frightened them during a moment of connection, if a loud noise happened while they were staring at you softly, they may begin to associate that vulnerability with danger. The key is paying attention. Your cat chose to look at you, really look at you, because they trusted you completely. If that changes, they're not being distant, they're communicating. So listen, watch, and if needed, gently rebuild the safety that made them want to hold your gaze in the first place. Because that silent stare across the room, it was never small to them, and it shouldn't be small to you either.